There on your screens is the CCTV footage that we've accessed, which shows the chaos after Kanhaiya Lal was murdered. In a hurry, all the shopkeepers in that particular lane, once they heard about the murder and witnessed the accused in that area, started shutting shops. Let's go back to Priyank, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. Priyank, it is evident how there was panic and fear amongst all the other shopkeepers in that particular area when they learned about Kanhaiya Lal's brutal murder by the two accused, who of course have now been arrested. But it goes on to show how fear and panic started spreading. The shopkeepers in the area, quickly fearing, of course, for their own lives, that they could maybe attacked next by these murderers, started shutting shops. They were scared. The shopkeepers started closing, wrapping things up and closing their shops once the news of Kanhaiya Lal's murder spread. We're trying to connect with Deepak. These are CCTV footage that have been accessed. This shows what happened after Kanhaiya Lal was brutally murdered in his shop. Priyank is back with us. Priyank, one shopkeeper in this particular footage that we are playing out, quickly wrapping things up, shutting shop, and clearly fear is evident. Priyank, can you hear me? Okay, I think we are still trying to connect with Priyank, but this is CCTV footage number 2 that we managed to access. People started running helter-skelter when they heard about Kanhaiya Lal's murder, of course, fearing for their own lives. Priyank is back with us. Priyank, it is very evident now from the footages that we are playing out how news spread about Kanhaiya Lal's brutal murder, and clearly these shopkeepers were afraid for their own lives, scared that they could be attacked next, and in a rush, they started wrapping things up, leaving their shops, shutting down the shutters.
Yeah, because they could see that there are two set of individuals who are wearing a skull cap, and they had two big knives in their hand, which was a butcher knife, and the knife was totally painted in blood. So that clearly shows that was quite a clear-cut, indication for all these individuals to move ahead. And while these suspects were fleeing away from the spot, there were two people who were from the neighboring shop. One person is Ensues and the landlady, who tried to stop these suspects, and they started attacking them before they were attempting to flee on their motorbike number 2611. So at that kind of situation, because it's a very narrow passage, Swati, it's a very narrow passage which is in the old city of Udaipur. So the shopkeepers knew each other. They knew that there was something wrong happening. They have never seen this kind of thing in their past life, and then they saw two men having a butcher knife in their hand, which was totally covered with red color, which was quite would be seen as blood. So obviously they were rushing. They wanted to close the shop. They wanted to save their life. And those set of individuals, the neighbors of the shop of Kanhaiya Lal, who came to stop the killers, were also multiply stabbed. And not even that. If you look, if you remember the visuals of the arresting of these two suspects, that also shows that how they were randomly attacking those policemen who were coming to arrest them. They were beaten up, and later to that, after overpowering them, the accused have been arrested. We are at this court where we are expecting that two more suspects who are part of the same module will be produced before the concerned court shortly. But in the meanwhile, the National Investigating Agency officers are also camping here. Talking back what we saw in the CCTV footage, the CCTV footage also shows the front wheel of the motorbike which was used by these suspects. Bhavat has also reported from the police station where the motorbike is parked, and we were the first one which highlighted that there is a 2611 angle involved to it. The suspects knew that they were trained. They had visited Pakistan in 2014 and 15. So they were waiting for some good opportunity for them, that one killing can have a larger impact, larger ramification with respect to the current scenario which is prevailing in most of the part of the country. So in this time period, there was an attempt to vitiate the atmosphere. There was an attempt to give an open threat to all those individuals who have not been talking about the same religious ideology.
Priyank, and because Kanhaiya Lal had approached the police 2 weeks before the murder took place, so news about that also must have spread. As far as the shopkeepers in that area are concerned, that he was constantly receiving death threats, that he was seeking protection from the police, and once they witnessed what happened to Kanhaiya Lal, they clearly were scared for their life.
Yes, there was a panic in this area, that is for sure, because we had gone to the spot. It's a mixed population, and there are the temples, mosques, everything is around this area, because we are talking about a city which was developed over the period of hundreds of decades. We know that this particular area had been there since long during the Raja Maharaja's time period, and even the Mughals were trying to invade this area of Jaipur. So since then, they have a mixed population. This area has been opted to create more panic, more vitiate atmosphere. Looking at the CCTV, it's quite clear that when there was so much of hue and cry, there was so much of noise of people screaming after the weapon injury which they had caused. The shopkeepers of the nearby shop had to forcibly close and shut down the shop and save their life. One of the front wheel of the bike, which is 2611 bike, the number of the bike, that's why I'm quoting, because this is certainly showing the ideology on which Pakistanis want to work. They want India to once again remember what had happened in 2611 and how they had attacked the country. So after killing of one individual, having this kind of larger impact is something which has been a very well thought mindset of the Pakistani ISI. This is not a mindset of a normal welder from Udaipur's outskirts. This is not a normal thought process of a perfume shop runner who was operating from Udaipur. This is something big, which is what Times Now has already been highlighting. They wanted to give it a picture that this is because of the hate crime which is happening in the country. This is because of the political atmosphere which is prevailing in the country. God forbid if these two accused were not arrested by the Rajasthan police, then certainly Pakistan's sinister plot of giving
but irrespective of the developments that have taken place, this cannot be justified. This is an act of terror.